What is pay-per-click advertising? Well, pay-per-click advertising is an internet advertising model where you only pay when someone clicks on your ad, hence the name, pay-per-click. And there's some great live examples that you can see online. Just go into Google and do a search for something, and any ad you see on the, this would be on this side here, on the right-hand side of the page are paid ads. Also at the top, just above the search results, you'll see an area that sometimes comes up that's called sponsored links. Those are paid advertisements as well. Also, you can look, if you're ever on a website, maybe you've noticed this, maybe you haven't, you'll see these little links on the side of a page or on the top, and it'll say ads by Google within the content of the website. Those are also paid ads as well. Okay, so a little bit more about pay-per-click advertising. Well, really, it's a great way to get instant traffic to your website. Now, I know that sounds all good and like, hey, let's jump on the pay-per-click bandwagon and do it, but I've got news for you. It's not as simple as it sounds. It's not as easy as people make it out to be. It is very, very complex for inexperienced internet marketers. And let me explain why. First of all, you have this thing called quality score. So what's quality score? Well, quality score is some assessment that Google makes to your website as to how relevant that content is to the words that you're bidding on. So if you own, let's say you're an electrician, and you send them to a website that doesn't talk about electrician stuff, then Google is going to be smart enough and say, hey, this isn't about electricians or whatever, so I'm going to penalize you and I'm going to raise your bids. The inexperienced marketer thinks, oh, the price just went up, and then they start paying more and more and more and more. Eventually they realize, hey, you know what, I'm wasting all this money. And it's all because their quality score wasn't there. Now, that is an extreme example. Really, it's even possible to have a website that is about electricians, and Google will look at it and say, well, I don't really see much information about electricians here, so you're not going to get a 10 out of 10, you're going to get a 6 out of 10. This makes the advertising model a little bit more complicated. Then what you have to do is you need to know about your keyword optimization. You need to put measures in place and find out what keywords are working and which ones aren't working. And by working and not, I don't mean which ones are generating clicks. I mean which ones are converting into paying customers. Because really, traffic that comes to your website that doesn't convert into a paying customer is not somebody you want to bid on. You only want to bid on a keyword that makes money. And again, this is one of those techniques that you need to know how to implement. Otherwise, your pay-per-click advertising is going to get very expensive very fast, and you're going to think, oh, it doesn't work for me, when the reality is just not doing it properly. Speaking of keywords, there's bidding for keywords. And what that is depending on the keyword itself, Google sells them at different prices. So that, if you were bidding on auto insurance, for example, it can be extremely expensive. For example, I know in auto insurance there are some words that might charge you $30 or $40 every time someone clicks on your ad, and whether they do something or not. Now, auto insurance is an extreme example. That's about as expensive as it gets. But it could be something as simple as, a nail salon or something like that, and then you could get, clicks for as little as 10 cents. But it's all about this bidding strategy that you need to do so that you're not, wasting too much money. And then at the end of the day, once you have all this, even if you have this all together, there's something in play that's called statistical significance. And this is going to, sounds about as scary as it is, and that is like, if I have a keyword that's generating clicks, but I don't see that it's actually converting into a prospect, do I turn that keyword off? Just yet, not every keyword, well, no keyword is going to have a 100% success rate. So what we need to do is we need to know at what point do we just stop the bleeding on a particular keyword and turn it off. To say, okay, we got, for example, 100 clicks and it never generated into a sale. So it's a pretty safe bet that this word is not working for us. And the ones that do, we want to make sure that we're getting more traffic to it, so we'd be willing to bid a little bit more for it. So that is why pay-per-click advertising can be complex, especially for someone who is not really into the internet marketing game, because that's really what it is.